this week's edition of The Bark.
Prom is on its way and there are a couple of requirements that we will talk about later.
Spring break is over, so we went on and asked students what they did.
Also, Bulldogs, 2 students are being honored this week, so make sure to congratulate them.
And later, sports anchor Benjamin Will gives us some info about what's been going on in baseball and softball.
And don't forget about the Bark After Dark, our amazing entertainment section hosted by me.
We have all that and more for your weekly news. Let's get started. Welcome back to The Bark. We hope everyone had a great spring break.
Prom is on the horizon and we got the requirements you need to go, so make sure to pay attention to this.
Remember, Bulldogs, prom is April 29th, and here are the requirements that you need to meet if you would like to go. Also, Bulldogs, make sure to buy a yearbook if you're interested. They will be $85.
Wow, that's a pretty hefty price. This prom is probably going to be amazing.
I'm sure it will be, Christian, but I got a question for you. How was your spring break?
It was pretty good, but I'm wondering about everyone else.
Well, don't worry, Christian. We got a reporter, Rowan, on scene asking students how their spring break went.
Students at ZHS spent their spring break in many different types of fashions. Some working, some vibing, and many going to the beach. But there's never a dull moment. Many students like Trinity Harris traveled for spring break.
I went up to Indiana to see my father and hung out with him for a little bit and ended up going to Ohio for a surprise trip to Kings Island.
However, there are many students who worked over their spring break.
Played video games and I slept and I also went to work.
As you can see, spring break is very interesting for everybody. How was your spring break? I'm Rowan Ely, The Bark Media.
Well, it seems like most students enjoyed spring break, but I'm wondering, Anthony, about the 2 students who are being honored this week.
Well, then stop worrying, Christian, because we also got that covered by...
Being celebrated for achievements you've worked so hard for is often one of the best feelings that most young adults can feel. Finally feeling accepted for the hours of work that they've put in, it can make their day, and most times even their entire year. For student Aiden McCumber, this reigned true, as he was celebrated for his Student of the Month at ZHS for being an outstanding student.
So some of the things that I will continue to do in the future to be honored by my community is meticulously searching for ways that I can help them and always making sure I'm doing my best and looking out for those in my community. I'm extremely grateful to those who do honor me. It makes me feel a lot better about myself and gives me a lot of motivation to continue doing things that people honor me for and to continue searching for ways that I can improve my community and finding ways to help those people who do honor me back.
As you can see, McCumber is extremely elated to be recognized with this honor. The sense of accomplishment is truly an awesome feeling, but don't take my word. Go out there and make the best out of today and feel accomplished. I'm Benjamin Will, The Bark Media.
Wow, I can't believe they honored one of them at Chick-fil-A. That's amazing. Are they going to have something about that in your yearbook?
Interesting. I don't know, but that reminds me to tell you, Bulldogs, to buy a yearbook.
Well, now we got our normal sports anchor, Benjamin Will, giving you some info about what's been going on in baseball and softball.
Welcome back to this post-spring break ZSPN. We have officially entered the 4th quarter, and that means sports are officially kicked into high gear for the second half. Let's dive in and get you updated. The softball team looks to bounce back in the second half with a highly talented roster. Coaches and players alike look to put it all together and show what they can bring to the diamond. A loss to Lando might make this difficult, but just a 3-0 loss brings hope that the defense and the offense can start to coexist. While softball looks to catch fire, the baseball team has had a hot start. They look to continue their winning ways against Wiregrass before heading to McKeel. The team was 6-0 before they lost in a heartbreaker to Holland. They get their chance to bounce back this week. Boy, they've had a hot start. The question is, how do these players feel about this hot start and how it will help their season? Maya Ruderman is on the scene.
Our boys baseball team is off to a strong start, showing off their talent with a 6-1 record. With a few of the famous household names showing off their talent and making a mark on the field, including Mason Denmark, DJ Pickett, Mark Santiago, and Austin Dobbins. Even though they came to a downfall against Hollins, they put up a fight with Micah Barron hitting a home run for the Bulldogs. With one of the main people who have been showing out is senior Maddox Rivera with some of the best batting averages in the state and in the district, leading the team in the hitting part of the game. We hope to see the boys continuing making their mark in the district with a promising season so far, with playing Wiregrass and McKell Academy this week. Reporting on the scene, Maya Ruderman, Bulldog Beacon.
The girls softball JV team looks to stay on fire after beating Seffner Christian. The JV baseball team continues to flatline as Wiregrass defeated them 15-1. Next up is Monday night at Sun Lake. That's all I got for you this week. Next week, how did the baseball team bounce back, and how did the JV baseball team respond to their rocky first half, as well as the softball team's feelings on their season so far? That's all for next week. I'm Benjamin Will of the Bark. Woof woof. Signing off.
It really is just normal.
It really is. And now for everyone's favorite part of the news, the Bark After Dark. And don't you worry, bullies, because I got you some info about some important games and movies like Scream 6, John Wick Chapter 4, and the Resident Evil 4 remake.
We love Resident Evil 4.
Welcome back to the Bark After Dark, where we talk about games and movies. I'm your host, Christian Benton, and let's get started. The Resident Evil 4 remake is coming out this week, and I'm super excited about it. I played the demo, and it was amazing. I can't wait to see how Capcom remade this masterpiece of a game.
True.
Now, let's move on to movies. John Wick Chapter 4 is also coming out this week, and I can't wait to go see this one. But I unfortunately don't have all the info, so I'll have more info for you next week.
True. Why? You know what?
Scream 6 came out a few weeks ago, and the movie did better than I thought, but still didn't do so well. It only got a 77% on Rotten Tomatoes. Well, that's all we got time for. Thanks for tuning in.
Candy cane stale.
Here's some things to do over the weekend. That's all for this week, Bulldogs. Have a great week.